Hiya and welcome to the James Oliver Guitar Channel. This is part 10 of the vinyl albums I like / inspire me series. So by the time this video is finished, I would have shown you 200 albums so far. And there's plenty more to go. And people are enjoying the series, so I'm going to keep it going. And up first, an album from one of my favourite record labels, Blue Horizon. This is Buck White and the Memphis Hot Shots album. Recorded on the Blue Horizon label, produced by Mike Vernon. And Bucker has a band on this. It's quite interesting to hear him with a drummer and a washboard player. And a harmonica player, etc. Because all the classic YouTube clips are just him on his own with his National Steel. But I mean, this album does feature some known Bucker White classics, like Aberdeen, Mississippi Blues, and Bed Spring Blues, which are quite famous Bucker White songs. But, you know, they're great renditions of his songs as well. There he is on the back with his guitar case. And I love the cover, like with the Spaceman. I'm a collector of the Blue Horizon label, and I like Mike Vernon's work a lot. So firstly, there's Bucker White and the Memphis Hot Shots. Up next, this is a weird one. An Evening with Wildman Fisher. This is a Frank Zappa's band, including Frank, backing this guy, Wildman Fisher. He brought it out on his bizarre straight label, what like Troutmass Replica come out on, etc. And this is madder than Troutmass Replica. Some of the tracks on here are absolute nonsense. Some of them are weirdly good. And it's a weirdly interesting album if you're into Zappa and you're into your avant-garde sort of stuff. An Evening with Wildman Fisher definitely is worth checking out. Now something completely different. Johnny Cash live in San Quentin. Of course, Carl Perkins is on this, and this one is signed by the guitar player on it, Bob Wooten, who I was lucky enough to see. And sadly, the drummer W.S. Holland passed away today, so I've been listening to this afternoon. It's got tracks on it like Wreck of Old 97, Wanted Man, San Quentin, A Boy Named Sue, Folsom Prison. I mean, Johnny Cash live in San Quentin and Johnny Cash live in Folsom are classic records, and they're definitely worth checking out. So that's my copy of Live in San Quentin. This album came out after he died. This is the Eddie Cochran Memorial album on London. And it's, I think Eddie was 21 or 22 when he died, and his body of work was unbelievable. I mean, come on everybody, 3 Steps to Heaven, Cut Across Shorty, Genie, Summertime Blues, Something Else. So many great songs in such a little space of time. The stuff with the Cochran brothers, like Tired and Sleepy. I mean, I think Eddie's quite an underrated guitar player too, because solos on 20 Flight Rock and stuff like that are brilliant. And I mean, there's even recordings of him doing the Merle Travis track Cannonball Rag. So this is the Eddie Cochran Memorial album. Now a nice acoustic finger picker. Doc and Merle Watson. So I says to Doc, they do Poor Boy Blues on this. They do a really good medley with Old Joe Clark, which is a fiddle tune. Doc's Rag. Of course, Merle sadly died in a tractor accident, I believe, and Doc lived till quite an old age. But what a guitar player, and he taught his son well. So that's a classic Doc and Merle Watson album. Bit of pub rock now. The second Feel Goods album. I've shown down at the Jetty. Now this is Malpractice. In a roundabout sort of way, I do prefer Malpractice with tracks like I Can Tell on Back in the Night, Going Back Home, Riot in Cell Block Number 9. And this is a United Artists first press signed by Wilco. I've seen Wilco loads of times, and I got all my Feel Good stuff signed by him. But anyway, nevertheless, the classic lineup of the Big Figure, John B. Sparks, Lee Brother and Wilco. The second record, I think I'm going to say it's my favourite Feel Good record. So there you are, Malpractice. Now a little bit more Zappa. Going to show the cover full. This is a reissue, it's not the first press. This is Overnight Sensation, which has got Montana on it, Camarillo Brillo, I Am the Slime, Dynamo Hum, Dirty Love, Zombie Wolf. Classic 70s Zappa. Camarillo Brillo is probably my all-time favourite Zappa song. Sort of reminds me of Sultans of Swing in a weird sort of way, the guitar sort of line. Have a little listen to it and see if you can relate to it. It might just be me being a bit weird. But yeah, Overnight Sensation, the Set Island, I mean, been to all the Zappa stuff, you know, right through to his classical stuff and his jazz stuff and his early stuff with the Mothers. But Overnight Sensation and Apostrophe are definitely worth checking out if you've never really delved into the Zappa sort of stuff. This is just a cheap compilation, but I'm such a fan I wanted to show it. This is like a best of Louis Jordan. It's like an 80s press, but they've got all the classics on it. You know, Early in the Morning, Ain't Nobody Here But Us Chickens, Caledonia, Choo Choo Boogie. Feel good music. What a voice. Wonderful sax playing. Definitely worth checking out Louis Jordan. I need to get some first press Louis Jordan stuff. I've had 78s in the past, but this is a good playing album anyway. This is a cool instrumental album. Ralph Mooney and James Burton. Corn picking and slick sliding. Of course, James Burton is famous for playing with Elvis and Ricky Nelson. Ralph Mooney's an amazing pedal steel player. I mean, and of course James Burton played with Merle Haggard, and they do I'm a Lonesome Fugitive on this. They do Ant Williams' Your Cheating Heart. There's a great instrumental that James Burton wrote called Sneaky Strings. You know, James Burton is one of my favourite guitar players, and this is a real cool instrumental. If you're into country music instrumentals, it's worth checking out. More John Prine. I showed the John Prine one a couple of weeks ago. This is Diamonds in the Rough, Everybody, Sylvaneers, which is one of my favourite John Prine songs, Billy the Bum, because I mean, John Prine always has a little bit of humour in his music, and, you know, tying in with Zappa, does humour belong in music? In my opinion, it does. So it's John Prine, Diamonds in the Rough. I always like to show Welsh bands on my channel, and this is the Welsh Band. This is a white label copy, sort of thing, like a radio copy. It's not a white label, but anyway, it's the Cardiff band, Red Beans and Rice. Of course, Tommy Riley, who was in the Memphis Band with Mickey G. I've showed that before. Pete Matheson on guitar, Albie Green on sax, Alan Walker on sax, Lincoln Carr on bass, again, who was in the Memphis Band, Steve Hawkins on piano. Real nice sort of jump blues. They do T-Bone Shuffle. They do Johnny Guitar Watson's Too Tired. They do Roy Head's Treat Her Right. I seen on Facebook that Roy Head died recently, which is quite sad. They do Caledonia, which ties in with the Louis Jordan album I just showed. And one of my all-time favourite songs, the Amos Milburn song Chicken Shack Boogie. So if you haven't heard them, check out Red Beans and Rice. This is a bit of a compilation LP because I don't own a single album by him. But this is Jesse Winchester, who's a singer-songwriter. And I have to say, I don't know much about Jesse Winchester, really. But there's a great track called Snow, which he does, which is another favourite song of mine, which is on this album, which I believe is his first album. So I think he's quite an underrated singer-songwriter, really, Jesse Winchester. So you can give him a check out. This is a Jack White release on Third Man. This is Charlie Patton, you know, the father of the Delta Blues. Wonderful, wonderful guitar player. Haunting voice. Pony Blues is my favourite Charlie Patton song of all time, which is on this record. Spoonful, of course, Cream went on to do. Shaking and Breaking is on here as well. Bandy Rooster Blues. I suppose Charlie Patton in a way is a hard listen, but I really enjoy listening. When you're in the mood, there's nothing better than Charlie Patton. It's haunting stuff. Really haunting. And, it's before Robert Johnson. It's before them all, really. And I think it's great that Jack White is bringing out these albums on his Third Man record label. More Welsh stuff. This is Shakin' Stevens and the Sunsets. I'm No JD. Features the fabulous Mickey G on guitar. You know, it's mainly covers. Frankie Ford, Sea Cruise, Honey Don't, which is Carl Perkins, the Don Gibson track, Sea of Heartbreak, Chuck Berry's Little Queenie. I am a fan of Shaky, and I'm not embarrassed to admit it. And this is his earlier stuff. This is on CBS, the green CBS label. Bit of early Shaky Stevens. Now to a little bit of Americana. Danny and Dusty, The Lost Weekend. Dan Stewart, of course, was in the band with Chuck Prophet, Green on Red. And this is sort of an Americana country rock album that he made. And The Word Is Out is a good song. He does Dylan's Knocking on Everyone's Door, Down to the Bone. It's very Green on Red-esque. I think that Dan Stewart does sound a bit like Neil Young, and that's what maybe drawed me to him on Green on Red. Plus, of course, Chuck Prophet's twangy guitar playing. So yeah, that's Danny and Dusty, a bit of an interesting one you don't often see. Now a little bit of Joe Walsh. This is the James Gang album on Stateside. It's called Yeah Album. And this one has got the classic on it. Funk 49. No, it hasn't. It's got Funk 48 on it, sorry. My mistake. But other classics that Joe Walsh does, like Collage and Take a Look Around. Really good trio, the James Gang. I love Funk 49. I like Joe Walsh playing the Eagles as well. Can't go wrong with a bit of the James Gang. The first album I ever had on CD. Rory Gallagher live in Europe. Love the cover. This album got me into blues, really. My father bought me this on CD when I started playing the guitar about nearly 14 years ago now. And it's got Junior Wells' Messing with the Kid. It's got Blind Boy Fuller's Pistol Slapper Blues. Going to my hometown and he's playing the mandolin. Bullfrog Blues is on this. And I mean, this is a classic live album. And after listening to this, I went back and discovered people like Blind Boy Fuller, etc. from listening to Rory Gallagher. And that's how I got into all this blues, rock and roll and rockabilly and country stuff. Really is all through this album and going back and listening to the covers that he did, etc. And it's a classic to me and it'll always be a favourite. His guitar tone on this is amazing as well. I haven't shown the Beatles one yet. So here's their first album, Please Please Me. This is not a black and gold one. I've had a couple of black and golds, but I always say, and I think this is sort of a classic rock and roll album, really. I Saw Her Standing There, Love Me Do, Twist and Shout. You know, they're young on this and they're starting to write, you know, incredible songs. And I've always liked George Harrison's guitar playing. I like George Harrison's slide playing too. Obviously, he's not playing slide on this, but I still like it. And yeah, this is the first Beatles album, Please Please Me. I thought I'd better show a Beatles, because I haven't showed one yet. Well, there's not many left to show now. Up next, the Talking Heads. This is the album 77, which features the classic track, Psycho Killer. I think David Byrne is a real out there guy and a songwriter, singer. And this album I really like. I'm a fan of the Talking Heads. I think Stop Making Sense, when he comes out with the boombox and the big suit and that, is brilliant. And I will admit, I haven't listened to this many times, but I've listened to Psycho Killer thousands of times. And the bass playing is brilliant on it. Even though I can't remember her name, I should have done the research before I filmed the video. But here we are, the Talking Heads. 77. Bit of psychobilly to finish then. The full custom gospel sounds of Reverend Orton Jim Heath. This is a great, great, great band. Psychobilly, rockabilly, punk, all in one big melting pot of music. This has got $400 on it, Wiggle Stick, The Devil's Chasing Me, Big Little Baby. It's on Sub Pop, so even on the same label as Nirvana and bands like that, and they were making this amazing rockabilly music. And Jim Heath was playing a Gretsch through a Fender Super Reverb. There's loads of albums to check out. Check out the song Psychobilly Freak Out. In $400 there's an amazing guitar solo, which is worth learning if you're into guitar playing. So yeah, there's 20 albums, a bit of blues, a bit of rock and roll, a bit of rockabilly, a bit of country, bit of a mixed bag of stuff. And I hope you enjoyed episode 20 of the albums that love and inspire me, and I'll keep doing these if you keep watching. And don't forget to like, share and subscribe. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you all soon. Cheers.